Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Another day, and out at the shop here, doing this, that, and the other, but watching an episode of Shango.
Rushes to help his kids when he realizes a police officer fired at the car they were in.
Really interesting. He's working on an old RCA TV that he pressure washed, and ever since that he had all kinds of issues. But he had just as many issues due to how nasty that TV was as compared to his pressure washing it. But really, he should have pressure washed it. Spent a little time this afternoon waiting on the video to process on that oscilloscope. Part 1, it's still processing. I think I might have made a mistake, but anyway, that's processing. We're waiting on it. So, in the interest of time management, decided I'd work on this old Dumont just a little bit. And I got a parts list somewhere of all the capacitors that I need. However, it's got some orange drops in here, just a pile of orange drops. And here's one here that I just decided to pull out. And I don't know how old these things are, but that one there, see that crack in the end of it? It checks high in value just a little bit, 0.068 instead of 0.047. But it's absolutely, there's about a gig of resistance in the linkage. I don't trust it. If I'm going to let this be an operable set, I'm not going to trust that. I love orange drops. When I worked in the TV shop in Winfield years ago, that's pretty much what we replaced everything with is orange drops. However, now we use these guys. Or I use these guys, and I was just testing it in my Syncor right here, 0.047 at 600, and it's measuring 0.0457 microfarad, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's actually 630 volt capacitors. So do a leakage. Is absolutely zero leakage, greater than 600 mega ohms. So anyway, I'm just kind of killing time waiting on that video to process over there before I upload. So I'm going to change a few of these capacitors out, and I've got a digging around in my stock. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 047s. Also found a 0.1 200 film cap, which is going to replace this guy right here that came out, that was rodent damaged out of that scope there. If you'll see it in part 2 of the scope video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm going to just replace a bunch of caps in this right here. This cap that I took out right here came from right there. So I'm going to stabilize this chassis. It's a little too rocky for me. I'm going to stabilize this chassis, and I'm going to go ahead and just change 1 or 2 capacitors in here just to kind of kill time. And yeah, they all got little splits in them. I don't trust them. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. What else? Fixing to start on this here, but the next thing that I got to do is get this scope out of XY. I'm going to find the full side of these here capacitors, and set you up for that. See if we can make this work. Let's see, let go, you little sucker. got to turn you completely. I'm not sure that other segment recorded or not. Anyway, now I've got you set up in the scope, and basically all I'm going to do is right here, I've got a little pair of test leads right here hooked to my oscilloscope, and I'm going to take the capacitor right here, and I'm going to put it on the scope. We'll hook it up to the leads like this. I think you've seen me do this before, and you've probably seen Carlson do this kind of stuff before. Now that I've got it in the test leads, let me back up just a little bit. Got them in the test lead. I'm going to put my hand on it, and let me put this on the right channel. Look at that signal right there, and I'm going to reverse the leads, and I'm going to look see which one is the minimum of each other. See how that one's higher in value? That's the lower of the two, so that tells me the negative side of this right here is the full side. So I'm just going to put a little mark on it like that right there. I can't freaking see the scope. So put a mark on it, because the shield is when I hold it on my fingers like this right here. Let me do this way. When I hold that cap on my fingers like that right there, with the shield connected to the ground, which is the black wire here, of course, the shield's going to keep the 60 cycles of mass floating around in the air from getting inside that capacitor. And so that's how you find your full. And I'm going to go and do that with the rest of these capacitors. You don't have to watch me do that. But anyway, that's how you do that. Alright. About time to get rid of this old military chair. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit. I'm tired of looking at my stomach. I really got to lose some weight. Easier said than done, right? Anyway, I had to well, think about that episode of Shango I was showing you guys. That old, you know, he washed that thing out, and he had just one problem after another. He had a lot of carbon tracking going on and stuff like that. And it reminds me of that 1460 B&K scope I'm working on. Kind of the same thing. It had rat infested or mouse rodent infested, and a lot of transistors on there, components on there, as they're just rotted. The leads are just rotted off and stuff like this. And I've spent more money on this thing than I should have. But anyway, it's just one problem after another. It works a while and quits, works a while and quits, works a while and quits. So I'm determined to make this thing work. Anyway, that's another story. So I had to use this little ungar right here, the soldering pump, to when I do these terminal strips here. It makes a great tool. However, it had not been cleaned, and the Lord knows when. So I took it all apart, got all the solder out of it, cleaned it up real good, and here, watch this. How fast that goes, that is what you want. You don't need them sluggish. So what I did after I got it all clean, put it back together, I gave it a little toot or a little squirt of WD-40 in there, and those O-rings in here that seals it. Now it's got some power. Anyway, enough of that blabbing. Let's fix something. We'll work on something toward getting it fixed. So right here is where we pulled that 047 a while ago. I don't have my glasses on. I have not stabilized this chassis, so hopefully it won't fall. Sometimes the trick is getting to this stuff is getting where you can there we go. That piece is still hanging around in there. Let me see if I can grab it. There we go. I really need my glasses. I can't see a thing. There we go. Just take care of your eyesight, people. All I can tell you. Eat your carrots when you're young. Alright, got that done. Now I got to reach across you guys for a second because there's something I need. I never get my crap together when I do these videos. I'm so used to just working, you know. You think after a year and a half or whatever it is I've been doing videos that I would get this stuff right. Anyway, here's my 047s. I'm coming up here. Let's see how much lead length they have. And I'm going to use some of this here Teflon sleeves just to make it look like I cared. Yeah, I know, I don't really have to do this, especially right there. But you know what the heck. It's all good, right? Here's your minus, here's your, or the full side. Going back to the full, finding the full, I use the oscilloscope. Just because one, you know, you say, okay, wow, okay, well here's the writing here, so if this one's the full side here on this one here, then the other one's going to be the same. No, the way they make these things, they come off rolled, you know, they're on a system here and they just fall out. However they go in the machine is how they come out. Which one might be one way, and the other one might, next one might be the other way, and the next 5 might be the same way, and the 6th one comes along, it'd be the other way. That's kind of how. Mr. Carlson would talk about it, or how he explained it, should I say, and it makes sense. Anyway, got that one done. I'm going to kind of do a little bit better job on restoration on this set right here. Let me show you what I've done. Whoop. This is their way. This is how we're doing it right here. That silly, that Teflon sleeve sure makes a difference on there. I got to solder that, clean the leads off. We'll do the same to all these other 047s that I can find. So, yep, the component replacement has officially begun. So I'm going to put y'all back where I found you. Zoom you in a little bit. I don't know if y'all like watching people replace components or not. I need to order some solder. I'm almost out of my regular solder. It's only going to be about $45 for a pound roll of it. I've got that one done. Take your, I like to hold one end of the leads when I clip them off, so they don't go flying and disappear and come back to haunt you some other day. There, I got one done. Let's see if we can find another. It's an 022, 002, 01, 002. And do not know what that one is. I marked it right in the middle. Put little black marks on there so I could tell which ones I counted. I don't know if you saw them or not in the video. Well, just a minute ago, shall I say. Wipe that off so I can see the value. Oh, okay, that's the .01. Okay, I ain't worried about that one. Alright. Alright, so we're looking for some more .047s. get that out of the way. No one. I think I got some of those. Tell you what, let me get my list and see how many of these I got to look for. Okay, according to my list, which I've made, went through this set here, Dumont RA164A1, 0.047s. I've got 2 at 600 volts, and then 1 at 200 volts. So there's actually 3 of them. They're all the same size. I'm just going to use. So I've got 2 more to go. So let's get to looking. Where are you? Let's see. 0.03. Y'all see me okay? Yeah. Let's see. There's I think a 0.1. Big boy right there. We already looked at that. 0.02, 0.1. We've already looked at that. Don't know what that nasty sucker is. I need to stabilize this thing. That's 0.01. Uh-oh. 001, shall I say. Alright, here's an 05. There's one right there. I'm looking right at it. So I've got an 05 right there that's also got a 0.01 on there. So I think I got a 0.01 as well, so I may as well just change both of those since it's the same solder point. So let's get everything set up. One of these goes to ground. So that's why I hate wax capacitors. Alright, here we go. The solder's got a 220K resistor tied to it. And I'm not going to go in and change resistors right now. I am in the tuner because it needs it. But the rest of these capacitors, the rest of these resistors, I'm going to change them when I have to, okay? Because after all, it is an analog set. I don't know. It's a judgment call. I'm just going to do it on an as-needed basis. Because there's 4 times as many resistors in this TV as there are capacitors. And I really don't want to change each and every freaking resistor in here. And if y'all decide to do one of these TV sets, by all means, do what you want to do. Your project, not mine. I wish you luck, and I want to see pictures of it one day. Still got to clean the chassis on this thing. I hadn't decided how I'm going to do it. There we go. There we go. So there's a 101 right there at 400 volts. I got to go see if I got one of those. That comes from right there. It's got 100K and 4.7 meg going to ground, so I got to suck that sucker out. Sometimes when you're doing this stuff, one thing leads to another. How it usually works, especially you can't. It's like, oh wow, I'm just changing one. Sometimes you have to change a whole bunch plus some other things you wasn't really planning on changing. Oh, that in there, I see. That goes through. They're using it as a cross connect. So this is definitely an original capacitor. Old solder. There we go. Alright. Don't full, outside full. Mark, always remember, before you don't, just cut them out. Make sure you know where the outside full is. So this capacitor right here, outside full is going to ground, which makes perfect sense. So then this one here, the outside full is connected to this capacitor, which is connected to that 220K. And then the other side here goes to that 4.7 meg and 100K. So let me go dig around my stuff and see if I can find a .01. Alright. I actually found one. I found a .01 at 400th. And this one here is a .01 at 400. Look at the size difference. This dude right here, that's it right there. Look at the size difference of that. That's amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Put my glasses back on where I can see. Alright, that one there, the end of this .01 is used as a cross connect that goes over to another side, so I'm just going to clip it. Alright. Go ahead and do that one first, so let me see how much lead length I'm going to need. I'm going to need about, I don't know, about a little over ½ inch. So, let's see, I've already marked common side, or I mean the full side. I used to think that the bands on some of these capacitors was polarity. Turned out that wasn't the case, and you know, I didn't learn that till not just a few years ago. Some things they never teach you. They did teach you that. I went to Huey P. Long Vocational School in Winfield years ago, and I was top of my class. I'm not bragging at all, but I don't feel like I was the top of the class because I wish I knew everything I learned back then. Did I say I don't like these wax capacitors? Gets everywhere. Okay, I'm going to solder that little bad boy in there, then I'll do the other side. Yeah, this old TV. I think I put a blob of solder on there, but I didn't. Just I'm using the smaller solder and I'm using it too fast to compensate for me not having my other solder. Anyway, there's the old one. .01 at 400. Glad to get that nasty thing out of there. Alright, so put the other piece of tubing on. This stuff, you don't want to put tubing on there at the same time on both sides, because I guarantee you'll lose the other one. Because this stuff is slick. Teflon is slick, slick, slick. Alright. Like I say, hold on to your pieces. Alright. Now I have an interesting one coming up, this one here. I'm going to solder one side of it in right now, but I've got to get my big soldering iron out, and I have to solder. I can do it two ways. I can loop it. I can cut the lead on the old capacitor and loop it, or I can just, you know, if we're doing it right, I'm going to have to get my big soldering iron out. I'll just use the rest of my, I'll use this solder because it doesn't take as long. It just makes it look better when you use the right solder. Fills in faster than using this smaller stuff. I'll have to break down and order some. Alright, got that one in there. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. Zoom you out a little bit. There it is right there. There's the 0.01 at 400. That's where I put it. And then here is the 0.047, and there is the full side. I got to put it right there, which means I've got to get my big soldering iron out and unsolder this old lead of it right here and solder that back in. I'll make sure whatever this is good while I'm at it. And then once I get that done, I got to find the other 0.047. It's in here somewhere. It's in there somewhere. It's probably a 0.05. But it's in here somewhere. I'll find it. So, and then we'll go from there. That might be it right there. Let's see. Nope, that's 0.1. Oh, I hate these sticky things. Alright, well, let me do that and I'll bring you back. Alright, boy, I tell you, got everything ready. First off, I used this kind of soldering iron a lot in my TV days because everything was this kind of stuff. All point to point. Didn't use these things a lot. Matter of fact, didn't have these kind at all. I had one, but I didn't use it a lot except in solid state sets. But this is what I used a lot of times. Anyway, on this here, you notice the tip right there. It's a piece of number 10 solid copper wire that's short, real short. And in the connections in here, I put what they call no-locks. You put a little bit of no-locks in here, and when you put them in there, these things will work a lot better. And this short tip right here gets a lot hotter. And just a piece of number, like I said, number 10 solid Romex. This is what you need to work on these things with, and these chassis right here. Just trying to get in here. Make it move around a little bit, make it move around a little bit. Then I can grab it, twist the lead off. Really not hard if you just take your time and think about what you're doing. And I've got enough room in here to put the old lead. I'm just going to kind of work it out a little bit. There we go. There. Kind of like pulling a tooth. Alright, I have to figure out what I need now. In the interest of logistics, I'm not putting a sheath on that side because there's no point. There's nothing there for it to get a hold of. And I just think it looks stupid, personally. There's something on it. I don't know what that is. A little green thing. I don't know if it's a resistor. I don't know. Try not to disturb it too much. It could be something unobtainium. Got to bleed it through there. Now I got to grab the other side. If I can just twist it. All I want to do is twist it, pull it back around, put it back in there like the factory did. Definitely where you need some of this big solder. Make sure that I got that flowed. Oh yeah, I'm good. I am good. We can get the sucker out of the way. Let's have a look at my handiwork. Not bragging at all. There he is, right there. Exactly like I found it, except just new. We'll push this component back over how I found it. I think that's a resistor. Gotta be, I don't know what else it'd be. But if it's bad or whatever the heck it is, I've got a Howard W. Sam's full real PhotoFac order for this. It hadn't come in yet because the ones I got offline sucked. Then I've got this. It got this offline too, but it's such crappy resolution I can't even read it. So I just went and spent my $25 and got me a PhotoFac. So it's going to be on the way. Alright, so we've gotten 3 capacitors in here. We got the 0.01, the 0.047, and the 0.047. So we got 3 in there done. We still got to find this other 0.047. It's in here somewhere. I hadn't found it yet. Again, the 0.02, 0.02, 0.002. I don't think that's it right there, but maybe it will be. That'd be that's a 0.01. I don't think I have any more 0.01s. Let's see, that's a 0.002. We've already looked at them. We're blue in the face. 0.1, 0.1, 0.5, 0.03. Where am I missing? Oh, the other one. I know where that's at. Right there. Good old Bumblebee. That's a 0.047 right there. 200 volts. We have a yoke for that. I'm not putting it in right now until I get through cleaning the chassis, but I'm not sure it needs that or not. I'm going to wait till I get the schematic. So that's where that other capacitor will go. So we'll just set it aside. So, all right. So let me see if I can dig up some more capacitors that I could change out. Well, we got 3 of them. That's a start. Woohoo! All right, another day, another dollar. Dug through all my box of capacitors and found a few more capacitors we can throw in our subject here. Had feedback on one of my other previous videos that said that my cinematography sucked. No, I didn't say that. I'm sure some people were. Anyway, so wide angle as much as possible to catch a lot more action. Close-ups when required. We'll see. Anyway, I got a handful of capacitors here. I got to check the outer full on there and do all that mess. But quite a handful here. That's going to save me a little bit of money. But this thing has got all kinds of capacitors in it. Of course, I got to get a couple of 0.01 safety caps. I got to order them. I don't have any. So let me figure out where the outer foil is on these things and go ahead and get that done. That's fairly boring. It is to me. And once I get all that done, we'll identify where some of these things are, and we'll start changing them. All right, got them all identified as far as the outer foil. Some of these things, these real big ones, are really hard to find. Capacitance is just so much; it's hard to discern the difference. So, let's see, where will we start this time? Let's see here. We got a 0.1 right here at 1,000. Let's see. Oop, missed one. There's a 1 microfarad right there. I think that's for another project. Sorry about the shaky cam, guys. I forgot to put the lid on my ink pen. My bad. Alright, the 0.1 at 600 right here. I'm going to use the 0.1 at 1 kV. And as long as you go above the voltage and not below the voltage, you're fine. So, I don't know. Let's find a 0.1 at, there's a 0.1 at 600 right here. I think that's it right there, but I never did identify where that came from. So it was just cut loose right there. So I may not be changing that right now because I don't know where it came from. I don't have a decent schematic yet. It looks like this is a tie point right here. Got a 470K right there, which I think, I'm not sure what that tube is. I don't know if that's a detector. What in the world have I got on me? Let's see. I was watching a video a while ago on YouTube while I was drinking some coffee and fell asleep. So my mind's a little not quite right yet. So here's the AF amp right here. The audio output is a 6W6G or 6V6. Anyway, going back right there is the AF amp, a 6AT6, a 6 Alpha Tango 6. So with that in mind, let's go back over here a minute. This looks like it's on pin 7. It's a 470K on pin 7. Yeah, here it is right there. There's R57 if you can read it. Pin 3, it's 60 volts, so let's see, 470K. There's a capacitor back there. This comes up here to can't read that, 680K. So it's a 470, a 680, and a 100K all joined together there. That looked like a decoupling cap. The only capacitor that I see right there is this right here, C3. That ain't, the heck is that? See, this doesn't match. This does not match. This does not match what's actually in here. So let's abandon this. Let's go back over here to the let's go back over to the computer a minute. Let's look. I'm gonna go here to manual. Come over here to radio and TV manuals. Television sets, Dumont. I wish I had this book, the real book, not just printout. Let's find RA164. It's got all kinds of RAs in here. I like this schematic for that reason. I wish I could find this book. RA164 right here. My computer decides to straighten up. Computer's really getting on my nerves here lately. It's got very good information on it. Here's the schematic. So let's find the expand button on here. There's the audio output right there. Here is that same tube right here, 6 Alpha Tango 6. Here's that 470. Here's the 680. Look, there it is. C247 right there. That goes to ground. That's the one we're looking for. Okay, C247. Okay. Now I know where that goes. I did not cut that, by the way. Wasn't me, y'all. Can't blame me. So where's the ground that this thing is going to? I still haven't stabilized this, and it looks like it went right here. That's a good ground point right there. So let's get to work. Remember on this old house a few years ago, one of the episodes, or one of the year runs that they were doing there, and you know, they're doing their intro and all this kind of stuff, and no Norm Abram, he's like, what did he say? He says, gotta get to work. I still remember. That's just, I don't know why that just annoys the hell out of me. Gotta get to work. Golly. That's a good program, but They're annoying sometimes. I don't know what y'all guys want. I'll zoom you in here. I mean, I really am not a good cinematographer. I try to do stuff right. I just can't please everybody. I try. One I need to please the most is the Lord above. I think I fail more and I do good. There it is right there. There we go. So got to get in there and got our trusty soldering iron going here. And so we'll try to get in here. See? Probably gonna get in your way here in just a second. I get that molten enough. It worked. I'll be danged. A lot of times on these things you can heat them up, not a whole lot, but heat them where they get loose. On the leads, heat them where they get just a little bit loose, and you can wiggle them like I'm doing there, and it gets loose. You see that? When they wiggle, let the solder cool off, and it's loose. Then you can go in there with a really fine pair of pliers, or cutters, I meant. Tool of your choice, whatever makes you happy. I got to dig in here, very tight quarters. And you can bend that lead. I'm just gonna clip it off. There it is. .1 at 600. We'll just use this bad boy right here. Some of these capacitors that I have is actually I put in other projects and got them working and all that kind of stuff, and then pull all the capacitors back out, put them back in the packages they come in, put them back in stock. Usually just gut out whatever I worked on and gut it out for pieces and parts that I can use for other things later on, But I'm going to Kilgore, Texas this weekend. Of course, when I play this video, it's going to be after I get back there. But we're going to Kilgore, Texas, me and my wife, Saturday, and there's a broadcast there's a broadcast museum over there, and one of the things that they have over there is they love Dumont televisions. So we are going to, hopefully, maybe, if everything works out, I might be able to talk them out of a deflection yoke for this TV. Even though I did repair this deflection yoke, still, I would rather have one a little bit better shape than the one I've got, because that thing is rough. Very, very rough. Now, if this capacitor will just stay still long enough, I'm going to try to balance it right there. Throw a little solder on it. Have it quite like I want it. There. Sometimes you got to solder tack them in there a little bit and then go back in there and clean it up a little. Sometimes you're just better off just leaving it alone. But I got it like I want it. I'm going to move all this stuff back like I found it. Remember, try to put everything back like you found it. And This capacitor here, because of where it's at, I'm going to add a little bit more spaghetti on it. Just because it's really close to some other stuff. Now on this one here, should go without saying that the full, which I have marked, I don't know if you can see it or not right there. It's the little dot right there. It always goes to the ground side or the lowest impedance side. You wouldn't want to put you don't want to put it on the grid side of the tube, the dot, or the full. You want to put it on the plate side. Plates are actually lower impedance than the grid. So you always want to put your full shield on the lower impedance side of whatever you're doing. In this case, it's a bypass cap, so it goes on the it goes to ground. All right, I'll zoom you back a little bit. Not sure how that shot went, but I'm going to use Big Bertha here. Do a little slaughtering here. Try not to damage anything. This big old hot iron. Need a little bit more. Try not to burn this capacitor. That would be very unprofessional. Not a lot of room right here. Yes, I could use a little bit of flux, but I don't want to. I hate when it drips. There we go. Well, not as pretty as I wanted it. There we go. There we go. I do need some solder. Let me zoom you out. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, I did kiss it just a little bit right here, but I ain't hurt it. I just barely touched it. I must have touched it with a tip. Got a little flux on it. My bad. There it is. The light's really harsh, isn't it? There's another one down. I hope that's Howard W. Sam schematic that I ordered. It's the right one for this. I looked it up by chassis number. But you know, every TV set, they at the runs, they always have, you know, they always change your designs up, you know, in different revisions, and sometimes Howard W. Sam's doesn't catch all the revisions. So what next, guys? Still think this 1 microfarad right here at 200. I thought, let me look. I was thinking that went into, well, I guess maybe it's that one there. I thought it went into that oscilloscope. No, I'm thinking of it was a 1 microfarad at 200 in there, but I already, that's a different cap, I think. Let me look. I got myself down. Oh, no, here it is. This is the 1 mic at 200 right there. Okay, all right. That's for that. Okay, sorry about the confusion. So we need to find this 1 microfarad at 200 right now. So the 0.1, there's a, oh, these things are sticky. 0.1, 0.1, 4 at 200. There's a 100 volter. There's a 1 at 100. Didn't think that was it though. 0.1, 0.25, 0.1, 0.5, 0.03, Yeah, 1 microfarad, excuse me, 1 microfarad at 100 volts. So where the heck is it? Duh, 1 microfarad at 100 right there. Oh, I'm such a nut sometimes. That shouldn't be a hard one, so let me, let's get set up and let's do that one. Turn this view screen around so I can see what it, oh my god, it's collapsing, no! What's wrong with my, there we go. Get you off of me. Right, this guy, I'm going to point at it so I can get you in frame here. Alright, I'm going to loosen you up a little bit. So move you up just a little, move you over a little bit. Right there. Okay, here we go. So there's your outer full. Of course, this is another one that's going to ground. So in this case, I'm going to cut this lead right here. Give myself enough room. I would like to test this capacitor just to see just how bad it is. Thing weighs about half a pound. Cornell Dubulay. Let me get an alcohol pad and make sure that was a 1 microfarad, because I put a line right through the middle of the value. Yep, it's 1 microfarad. Alright, let's get out the old Heikos right here. Right there, goes into the IF strip. And again, I'm just going to kind of heat this connection right here where I cut that lead off. Come on. Do the same thing with this one. Try to get it hot. Don't want to bend these little strips too much. They'll break on you. Give it a little bit of solder there. Help it out a little bit. There we go. Let's see, where's my desolder? Do it again. Alright. Just have to be patient. I'm still a little groggy from my accidental afternoon nap that I had. Now I tell you, here lately, I just get still, I just fall asleep. I was watching Curious Mark too. I was there it is. Leg. I don't even remember what he. Alright, now I got what I'm going to do here on this ground where this come off of, instead of fighting and getting that out of there, I'm just going to kind of cut the leftover leg, and then I'm going to this come off a Dumont. I think that's, speaking of Dumont, this come off a Dumont scope that I worked on. I have a video on that about a year or so ago, and I got it working. I think I said this before. I got it working and all this stuff, and it just didn't work too good. You know, every time I turned around, it was needing another resistor or another cap, and it was just getting boring. The CRT was weak on it and all this kind of mess. And so I said, you know what, this thing's got a lot of pieces and parts on it that I could use for other things. So I gutted the thing. and then took all the components back out of it. But anyway, goes around, comes around. This capacitor I'm about to put in here came out of that Dumont scope that I replaced. So, come out of one Dumont into another. It's 1 microfarad. I don't think I'm going to be able to find the full shield on this, so I'm just going to take my chances. You know what the heck. Might be able to find it, but on 1 microfarad it's going to be hard to find. That's what I'm trying to do here. God, oh, I wish I could wake up. Okay, there's a little bit right there. Yeah, I figured y'all didn't want to hear me ranting and raving. Anyway, I found it. I was actually able to identify the full shield. Yay! Now I feel better. I'll sleep better tonight, knowing that it's been properly identified and marked. So, you figure out how I want to do this. They had it in there a certain way, so I'm going to try to put it in there about like they had it. This capacitor here, they had it tied to this terminal strip right here with a little bit of a wax string. I thought that was really nice. I tried to save the string, but it just disintegrated. And when I tried to take it off, I was going to try to reuse it to duplicate what they had, and I just couldn't. It just didn't live. I don't have any. I could use dial cord, but honestly, I don't see what the point is. Trying to get this just right, guys. Alright. Yeah, I'm going a little bit more precise on this here than I have been on some of my other projects. You know, some projects, you know, I approach from a TV repair mentality. You know, I go in there and I'll stick the components in there the quickest way I can to you know, to get on with the project or the repair, because this was a repair shop. You know, time is money. The more sets you can get out in a day, you know, the more money you make. However, for hobby, for repairing this stuff or restoring it, which is what I intend to do with this TV, I want it as neat and as clean as possible. Alright, got the capacitor in. Now to solder it. Alright, bring out Big Bertha. Actually, no, because there is a 0.1 at 200 that's in that same spot. So let me see if I can find a 0.1. I know I had a 0.1 somewhere. I don't know why I don't have one. Let me look on my list here. I need to replace that before I solder that. What did I say that was? 0.1 at 200. I know I have some 0.1 microfarad capacitor somewhere, but I don't. Otherwise, I would have had them in this stack. So I got to not solder that one. So we'll have to come back to that. So, all right, let's move on. So we got 3.01 at 600s, which I'm going to replace them with 0.015s, and that should be these three right here. Yeah, 153K. That's a that's a 0.015 microfarad cap at 630 volts, and I have three of those. So we get to do three of them. So we got to find some 0.01. 0.02, 0.1, 0.003, 0.1. We already seen that one. Another 0.1 down here. 0.15. 0.1. We got a bunch of 0.1s. 0.5, 0.25. Let me guess. One of them's gonna be under that mess there. Oh my lord. Yeah, I got 3.01s. Just gotta find them. In here somewhere. We'll zoom you out a little bit. Where are y'all at, dudes? I know y'all in here somewhere. That's not it. Those are not it. I know daggone well, unless I got my values wrong. That's entirely possible. Oh, I bet you there are these stupid orange drops. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. Yeah, because here's a 0.1 here. Oh, that's a clues right there. Oh, you know, wax caps. Yeah, there's one there. They just stuck this stupid thing in there. So I need to go identify this on the schematic to make sure they got this in right. Oh my gosh. Let me show you this, what I'm facing. This is the circuit. This is the next one right here. There's a 0.01 right here. It's 600. There's one connection right there. There's the other side of it right there. And I'm replacing it because, remember, it's cracking on the end. They're probably okay, but I'm not going to keep a capacitor that's cracked. So all this is messed up. You see, there's a resistor there that's been looped in right there. I got to double check that. Something's going on there, and then I got this capacitor here and this one here. I got to change all three of those. I would prefer to change this one, this one, this one, and this component all at the same time and get that cleaned up. So that's where I'm at with this. So let me double check my stuff, see if I have some of these capacitors right here, and see what this resistor is supposed to be, and we'll come back. Alright, I had to go study this a little bit, but we're in kind of the vertical deflection zone right here. Vertical deflections right in this area here. This is some of the components to it, and also we're very near some of the yoke wiring right in this area here. Let me see. Flyback's up here, and some of the yoke circuitry is coming through here. So all of this stuff here is kind of been handled a little rough, I guess the best way to say it. So let's try to identify this right here. We got a capacitor right here. Let me get my glasses on. I knew better than to do this without my dang glasses on. What is that? There's a 472 kilovolt right there. Goes to it goes to a what is that? A 68K resistor to ground. Let's see if we can identify that. Let's get my pointer out here. So let's see. There's a 470 microfarad right there, 2 kilovolts. So that would be C254. Alright, and then here's that 68K at 1 watt. We're going to have to double check these. We're going to have to check every one of these in this circuit, these resistors. Anyway, let's go back here. This 470 picofarad goes to the red wire out of the vertical output transformer, which is this guy. There's your red wire. So here we are right there. So this little wire here comes down and jumps over to this. So that goes here. This right here is a different capacitor. Sticky, sticky, sticky. So we got all kinds of stuff. It's busy. I think this one here goes to the yoke. It does. This goes to the yoke right here, this color wire. So that goes to the yoke socket. So, alright, so we've identified this and we've identified this. Alright, so now there's a 0.01 right there between the red wire and the 470. So let's see if we can find that 0.01. Here's a 0.1. So that's not it. This is not it. So let's go over here. This says to C262 at V401. So I'm pretty sure that's 262. And V401 is the CRT. And why am I not seeing the CRT? Because I grabbed the wrong piece of paper. There's the CRT. C262 right there. But it does not tell me what the cotton picking value is. But I'm pretty sure the other side of that goes to, there's one to ground right here. That's supposed to be 100K. 100K to ground. And then it should have a 0.1 at 200, which is right here. So that's it right there. This is C262. Alright. Here's this resistor in question right here, which is this guy right here. It's hard R272. Then C261 is the 0.1 at 200. So this is C261. So this goes to the CRT right here. So this is C261, C262, and then going back here to the red wire, there's a capacitor to ground, and that's this 0.1. So that's 259. So we have identified what this one is, and this one is, and that is. So that's what we got to do next. So let me get all my pieces and parts, and I'll come back. Alright, I did some scrounging around here, and first off, let's go back over here and look at this. This resistor here is a 100K resistor right here. It's just tacked in right here to here. It's checked exactly 100.3 K ohms. However, I don't like the way it looks. Not going for the looks of this. Looked on the schematic and it didn't call for a 1 watt. I think they just threw in whatever they had. But I got a 1/2 watt here, a little Allen Bradley style, that's going to go in there. So as it stands now, I have this component, I have this component. I do have this component and this component. They're brownies, or brown drops. Got this out of that Revere tape recorder. I checked them. There seems to be nothing wrong with them. And so I'm going to give them new life in here, and I'm going to try to make it look good, even though the leads may they'll be doubled up, but they'll still be better looking than this crap. So I'm going to pull all this mess loose and clean all this up and check the more components in here, and try to clean that up a little bit, because I think this set deserves it. I haven't checked this resistor, so I'm going to go back in here and check some more components and all this kind of stuff. And see if I can clean this up and get that all cleaned up, and that way we don't have to worry about the vertical circuit. So anyway, and I want to check the resistances of the vertical output too, because that's one thing I didn't do the other day. So alright, so let me do that. Tell you what, this is some of the stuff you're going to run into. I was looking for the leads on the vertical output transformer right here. And here's one right here. This one right here. It comes up, goes through here, comes up, over and down, and look right there. Let me get this light where you can see it a little bit better. That looks pretty rough right there. I ain't exactly sure what happened there, but that just looks funny. Oh boy. Let's see, his wire is pretty solid too. It actually looks like that wire. I really don't know. Thought maybe the insulation if the wire was but I don't know. Get this stupid thing away from there. There we go. I don't want to pinch it too much. Yep, there we go. So there's your blue wire, the vertical output, and then here's the red wire, and then another one goes right here to this. So I'm going to own that out real quick. Yeah, I don't need to watch me do that. I'm going to make sure this vertical output transformer is good. Alright, more capacitor changing mayhem. I'm about to work on this vertical circuit here. The vertical deflection transformer had 1500 ohms on one part of the winding, and then it had like 7 ohms on the second part of the winding. I'm not 100% sure that's right. Neither Howard W. Sams didn't say what it's supposed to be. Neither did the I'm going to have to look it up a little bit closer. I mean, 1500 ohms sounds kind of high. I would have thought maybe 400 or 500 ohms, not 15. But I'm not sure. It might be normal for this thing. I don't know. I got to look it up. Might be looking for a vertical output transformer. Wire's a little hard on this thing. Get that little stupid capacitor to move a little bit. There we go. Oh, I hate these things. I need to be wearing gloves. Right there. Need to be wearing gloves. Of course, this stuff will stick to the gloves and it just be a real mess. So just old waxy capacitors. So there's a 0.1 right there. Got that out. Got that cleaned up. There's the yoke wiring. I'm going to try to relocate that if I can. I don't know if I can or not. Thinking about ringing this transformer, just pulling a couple of these leads out and ringing it. The vertical output tube, I think that's a vertical output tube on the green wire. Actually, the blue wire is. Green goes to 450 volt boost. You know what? We'll find out when we power this sucker up. How about that? Okay, so I got that cleaned up. Let me clean this wiring up a little bit. I'll put this transformer back like it should be. Looks like this has been replaced. Not 100% sure. Somebody's been in here. Don't know when, what's last century or this century or what, I don't know. Alright. So what we're going to do now is put in one of our 0.1s here. I got a 0.1 at 600 volts. I'm going to make a little loop, There's 100 different ways to do this, but I choose to just make a loop. Just a little service loop. Then I've got, excuse me, hookup wire. This is 22 AWG bus wire. 100 foot of this stuff comes in real handy to do such things with. Yes, I know there's other ways to do this, and you can twist the wires around and make them really neat looking. Honestly though, when I do this, it's going to look good. It's going to look like I tried. I don't have enough leads. If I had enough leads to twist these things and do right, I would, but I don't, so I ain't. Yes, I could go in here with new capacitors, and I'm a cheap. Not that I'm cheap, I guess I shouldn't say that, but these capacitors are good. They deserve new life too. You know, I'll use new if I have them. I mean, I'm still going to have to order new capacitors anyway, but I think these will work fine. I can save a little bit of money by doing this. That's what I'm going to do. So this is what it looks like. It's going to be fine. I think it'll work just fine. So here, make sure I got enough lead. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tubing on there. I can't help noticing my tubing's all twisted up in here. I'm going to go in here and do surgery on the tubing. It's wrapped around itself in one spot. There, got that. And I'm not going to put any on the ground side. It's just pointless. But I will put some on this. That okay with y'all? Good. Oh, y'all don't trust me, huh? Okay. Y'all don't trust me that I'm putting good components in there. Fine. We'll just wake this bad boy up here. So we'll do all other caps, 0.1 microfarad and 600 volts. I don't have to calibrate it for this value capacitor, I don't believe. Hard to do with one hand, especially when there's test leads. Everything wants to grab. That little pop you heard is the pop that really pisses me off. And the damn leads pop off. Alright, here we go. Sorry for the shaky cam. Alright, capacitor value. 0.1145 microfarad. Capacitor leakage, 600 volts. About a microamp. It's a good capacitor right now. That's not enough leakage to damage anything. So